Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, my friends. Today's a busy day for fighting game news. So early in the day, we had some news about Invincible Versus and the two recently revealed characters. I had hands on time. That's great. Check that video out. And right now, we're looking at some proper Avatar, the fighting game, gameplay footage. And naturally, we're going to break it all down. So before, when we had that announcement trailer, like we saw some snippets of gameplay, but that was just it, snippets. Like it would cut like every 2 seconds. Right here, we get a better idea of what the game is actually like. We were told what the game would play like, but we didn't get to see it. But now we're seeing it, and hey, stuff they said like movement-centric gameplay, yeah, I'm buying that. These characters are moving, and it's not even a versus game. We got a lot of those. This isn't one of them. This is a 1v1 fighter. So that's cool, and we're going to get into it, but there are some other things to talk about. So one, we have Justin. So Justin Wong is our community ambassador for Avatar, the fighting game. Hey, go get. There is one thing Justin said. I do want to preface this with, I think Justin is a fantastic human being. I like him a lot. Every time I've met him in person, it's a true joy. So I just want to butter him up a little bit here first. But this.
I'm so excited for it just because growing up as a kid, growing up as a teen, I watched this series nonstop multiple times.
Justin, I love you. You are not that much younger than me. You were no teenager when this show came out. I was already well into my 20s when the show came out. I watched the show as it came out when I was in my 20s. I'll admit it. You know, time is a cruel mystery. Actually, you know what? No, scratch that. I'm a cool kid just like you. I also remember being a simple, humble child when this show was coming out. Us kids gotta stick together. But yeah, that said, besides that, we have a closed alpha coming. Now, unfortunately, we're a little light on the details, but it'll have 4 playable characters. We'll have Aang, we'll have Korra, we'll have Katara, we'll have Zuko. That's a pretty good supercut of the characters that you'd want anyways. More details to come in the future. Stay tuned to the socials, stay tuned to the channel. When the news happens, we'll find out. But till then, it's something that'll happen on the horizon in the future. Which is great, because I know a lot of us want to get our hands on the game. But yeah, just big times in the Avatar world in general. Like we have the new Magic at the Gathering set coming out. I believe that's next month. I'm actually very excited. I've been playing Magic off and on since Ice Age, because I'm cool and young, as we mentioned earlier. And bare minimum, a bunch of cards in this set I'll definitely want to put into various commander decks. We have the new Avatar animated movie that is focused on the later adventures of Aang after the events of the cartoon that comes out next year. And we have an all-new animated Avatar show coming in 2027 called Seven Havens, which I don't know too much about right now other than apparently it's set after Korra and it's a post-apocalyptic setting. Korra wasn't the best Avatar. But now all that out the way, let's talk the gameplay here because we get some good hints of what's going on in the game. Stages pay good respect to the show here. Northern Water Tribe, you can see dude like water bending his boat along. I like that a lot. And then we cut to the actual gameplay here. And this is really interesting stuff. Once again, movement's supposed to be a big deal in the game, right? So out of the gate, we see Aang pulling some Aang stuff, right? And Korra's kick kind of clearly goes over the hitbox/hurtbox of his head. So, okay, we got built-in evasion. Directly following from that, we see Korra basically doing like some sort of backdash into like a command jump using an ice stump to jump backwards, like basically going the entire screen in like a second, right? So she's can move around too. And not to undersell the gigantic air blast move Aang does, gives me like Vietnam flashbacks of Swift Master from DNF Duel. And then going from that, like, look at this absolute nonsense out of Aang here. So he busts out the glider, and this is like no mere super jump. That'd be selling it short. Like, so he can get extra space going on, then do it a second time. I don't know. Like, it's definitely not just his base jump. At least it doesn't look like it. It looks probably like some sort of special, but he can do it twice in the air. So air mobility, at least for Aang, is probably going to be a lot bigger than most fighting game standards. And Korra tries to pull a Darly dagger and, well, that doesn't work for her, and she gets bopped by that giant normal we talked about. Here you can see Aang on the air ball, right? Thing is, if you hit the wall, he gets hit. Like, you could definitely combo him from that state. You have to, right? So perhaps if your movement's not very good, you'll pay the price. Also, you can see Maya in the background, right? So she's definitely the support character that was mentioned before in the trailer. At least I think so anyways. They were mentioned. I'm assuming, so her, Appa, We have the polar bear dog, some other ones, right? So these are the assists, strikers, whatever they're going to be. We don't know their function yet, but they're just chilling in the background. Zuko can basically just jet himself up into the sky and then have a dive kick to follow up, so that'll be annoying, I'm sure. Speaking of annoying here, jump and attack that hits both sides, both the fist and the foot. So I'm expecting some very ambiguous mix-ups out of the boy. Manages to land the hit, then bot bang for a big combo. And I think it's really cool here, like just doing like multiple fireballs on the way down. That's kind of sick. And again, the movement. So these two things we've seen before, except Aang doesn't crash here, but like the amount of movement, the distance the characters have covered in a short amount of time, that's huge. And then here, so we see some counters out of Korra. I don't know if this is specific to her or maybe it's like a universal mechanic. But given the amount of shenanigans, this is probably going to be possible in this game. Having universal defense would be nice. But yeah, so every time she gets the parry, it's like a time stop effect, right? So she can act and do something. Doesn't seem to give her priority right away, though, because Aang still finishes his animation. But still, defense is nice. And then afterwards, she kind of low profiles under Aang's attack. And then, hey, you know, gets a combo, and it's Avatar styled, right? So fire into water, and this might be earthbending depending on stage, because it's a nice stage, I don't know. But still, it looks cool. And then gets another cross up here, and then just leads to another combo. So, like, wind into fire, into water, right? So, like, for Korra, they got the whole Avatar stuff down. Like, everything looks really good. And, of course, the game looks really good just in general, really. And then moving into the second part of the trailer here, again, the movement is absurd. Like, Aang and Zuko are doing nutso stuff here. So, Zuko, backdash into, like, triangle jump, I guess, using his rocket power into another backdash. And meanwhile, Aang's pulling some nonsense of his own. As, after getting in, he does the glider dive in to an overhead. Another glider, so it's double overhead. You're going to have to block standing twice. Otherwise, you're going to get opened up. Like, that alone tells me Aang's going to be a mix-up monster. Like, that's going to be tricky to keep blocking correctly. And on that exact note, so normal into the fact he can jump cancel the normal into the glider and then hit you cross up on the other side. Again, if you're any kind of asleep at the wheel here, you're probably not going to be ready for Aang's mix-ups just looking at what we see in this trailer. I hope there's some decent anti-air options. Whoever has good anti-air is probably a character I'm going to play in this game, given what I'm seeing already. And then just going from there, Aang is an airbender. He's going to have big time style point combos. So using the stick, using his airbending powers, like, once again, just looks cool in motion. And speaking of looking cool in motion, right, we see Zuko versus Korra here, and they're like, wow, going over each other. That's cool. What's not cool is Zuko can just do that jumping fireball move like whenever he wants. That better be really negative on block or that's going to be annoying. But again, like the movement's crazy here. Then it's this. So Zuko already powers himself up. And then again, like we have to like raise the skybox here. So we're going to get some like versus game level of movement out of this game. And Zuko gets a hit. And then we're going for like a big, like he's turning blue. It's got to be some sort of like extra special thing, right? Big launcher into a really cool follow-up. And so much movement stuff. Again, evasion. So Korra low profiles the hit here, goes into that big launcher. So water and the fire in the air. We're avataring it here. Big old flame axe kick. And then we get a look at, I gotta assume it's like the big cinematic super. We always need a big cinematic super in our fighting games. Goes into avatar state. And then just avatars all over Zuko, basically. And that's our first proper gameplay look. That's not just little snippets. And I gotta say, I'm a lot more excited after seeing that. That's some crazy movement. I guess I didn't know exactly what I was expecting at the time. Other than, hey, new fighting game. I like fighting games, so hope it's cool. And now we're seeing it, and it looks pretty cool by my books. Like, as someone who tends to play more immobile characters, whoever the big slow dummy of the game is, I'll still probably play them. But if this is like the general game speed, game flow, and like the pace of the game, I think a lot of people are going to have a lot of fun with it. It is slated for summer 2026, so in the grand scheme of things, it's not that far away, right? So I'm assuming we're going to see more fairly soon-ish, especially more characters. 12 characters at launch. This isn't like a AAA production, right? But still, Avatar doesn't have the hugest roster of all time, so we'll have a lot of the bangers people are expecting. I'm just hoping for Uncle Iroh personally. And from Korra, I guess Lin Beifong. We'll find out where it goes in time. And of course, they've already promised post-launch support with DLC characters as well. So there'll be lots of opportunities. But yeah, I like the Avatar franchise a lot. I'm looking forward to the game, and I look forward to more when there is more. But until then, my friends, that is it for the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some fighting games.